Alright, now we've got more stuff to do with this sound system in here. Meanwhile, I've gotten the truck pretty much entirely put back together, rear seat and all, up underneath. You can't tell there's anything there, but there is. I also discovered something about this side seat. It goes a lot farther forward than I thought. This is how far I thought it went forward, just that distance. Well, up under here, there's a second track that gives me so much more room to work in here. It's like, but unfortunately, the cable that actuates it is completely destroyed. So, there's that. I can't do this one-handed. There we go. Now we can see what's back here. Wires upon wires upon wires. And the fuse junction block where nothing is actually fused right now. Now, right now, this is all that's run. It's just got everything going to the back because the RCAs are still not connected to the deck. And actually, the power wire is still not connected under the hood either, so we still got a little ways to go before we can actually test the system, but we have the components of the system now. So let's do some box opening, shall we? How pretty. Brand spanking new subwoofer. And believe it or not, the first time I've ever bought a subwoofer brand spanking new. So, absolutely sweet. Now my biggest question at this point is whether or not this thing is going to fit in this box. Because if it's not, then I'm going to have to do some slight modification. I really don't want to do, but if it's necessary, I guess I'll do it. Yeah. Let's see if we can get lucky. We just got lucky. Sweet! It fits! Well, mostly. And the ring comes off and I can put the bolts in around the edge. Looks like we're open on that port right there. I can see the inside of the wood. But down around the corner here, I think we're mostly pretty good here. Sweet! Absolutely sweet. And then this box here, we have an amp remote knob and its cable. And we have a PDX M6 amplifier. Look at this thing. Now actually the PDX 4.150 I had was new, but this one just looks beautiful. And I love the quick disconnect terminals for both the speakers and the wiring. So that's going to be nice. And I think this one here is for the wiring. It's for both of them. Coolness. Now this ought to look familiar to you because of the Alpine amp that I already have actually uses this same exact terminal. Just plugs right in. I'm not going to plug it in right now, of course, but here we go. the ground and the battery and the amp remote power. And got a couple fuses. And we got the bass control and an input output. Alright. Just freaking sweet. I'm loving that it actually fits in the box, because I was a little worried there. They advertised the box on the Hi-Fi Sound website. They advertised the box as having a 6-inch mounting depth. This subwoofer has a 5 7/8 inch mounting depth. So I was a little worried there, because if you look at the inside of the box, you'll notice the box is level with the tailgate and the subwoofer opening is tilted. Or you could look at it the other way and say the box itself is tilted and the subwoofer opening is level. Either way, it's tilted, and I was a little worried there that it wouldn't fit, but it looks like I'm gonna get lucky right here. Awesome! Now I just need to go into the garage, into my other sub box, and pull out all of the screws that were holding my Type R's in, because I'm going to use those same screws to hold down the S. Now the funny thing about it is these Type R's are dual 4 ohm coils, 500 RMS, 1500 watt peak output. This Type S subwoofer, check it out. Not how newer technology just takes over. Now the Type R is like 1000 watts RMS and 3000 peak. And I was like, I don't need that kind of power. Come on, really? So I just went with basically an identical Type R. But this Type R has a 7.7 inch mounting depth. So there's no possible way that I could use it in this box. Especially since putting just the subwoofer by itself under the chair, it would touch the floor and the chair. So there was no way to build a box around it. So I pretty much had no choice but to get another subwoofer with a shallower mounting depth. And I looked at shallow mount subwoofers, and Alpine does have one, but they want like $400 for a single sub. I got that Type S for $60. Look at the difference there. We could have modified the box if we needed to. I'm not going to spend $400 on a subwoofer. I am sorry. So this system has basically just become entirely outmoded by my new system. But now I'm going to put it all together, get the wiring run for it, and maybe start hooking some stuff up to the deck. I might actually have to use my little line level converter again. And I bought a new one, so even though I believe it to be the amp that was having problems rather than the line level converter, I went ahead and bought a new one anyway, just so I can have all good stuff supplying the new stuff, you know. So anyway, I'm gonna stop talking now. This clip is almost 12 minutes long, even though it's not gonna be 12 minutes long after I get done speeding all of the clips up. Oh, the wonders of editing. I'll talk to you later. Well, we've gone ahead and hooked up the battery to the big wire. Now, in no way, shape, or form is this thing ready to start blowing anything, really, but the wire's there. And yes, I stripped off the outer piece and I put it in the back already, but it was the only way I could manage to get that big friggin' terminal lug on there, since I don't have a top post battery right now. And questionable whether I will get one or not. And I will be doing the big 3-wire upgrade and all that fun stuff. But for right now, I've got sound. And unfortunately, I don't have the RCAs hooked up to the deck yet, so we can't do that just yet. But what we can do is connect to my phone, where I've got a certain track punched in, and we're going to go ahead and hit play. Turn the volume up. And my remote bass knob does actually work. And as you can see, it's in a plate now. I'm loving the sound of it. It's not really shaking the truck or anything, but it's definitely there. I might need to lift the box up off the floor a little bit because I think the sub facing the ground, and it's basically touching the ground right now, so it's not sounding all that great unless I lift up the box. So I'm gonna have to do something with that, but it sounds pretty darn good. I gotta say that. Yeah, it's kind of muffled when I put the box down, so I'm gonna do something about that. But for right now, I'm loving it. I'm loving having a sound in here that's deeper than the speakers in here. And I took out there's a black background on the inside of the panel. I ripped that off so I can actually see the tweeter on the Type S in here. But yeah, so there's that. Freaking awesome. Everything works. I'm getting a little warm, but I've been running it pretty hard for the last 10 minutes or so. Yeah. Freaking A. And it's just laying here for the moment because I don't have anything really mounted, but I will eventually, and then these will be plugged in once I get them plugged into the deck. It's just all working out. So yeah, I think I can just button this thing up and then do what I'm gonna do tomorrow, and that's gonna be fun. More info on that later.